गणपतिगं महामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतः न शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सेदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। सरस्वत्यै नमो नित्यम् भद्रकाल्यै नमो नमः। वेदान्त विद्यास्थानेभ्यैव च सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पुत्रं कण्वशम् पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। अचतुर्वदनो ब्रह्मा द्विबाहुरपरो हरिः अभाललोचनः शम्भुः भगवान् बादरायणः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll read from 102nd Sutra. Kampanat Jyotirdarshanat Akashvarthantarattvadi Vyapadeshat Sushuptyutkrantyoho Bhedena Patyadi Shabdebhyah. Next one. Anumanikam api ekeshamiti chet na sharira rupaka vinyasta grihiter darshayati cha. Again. Anumanikam api ekeshamiti chenna sharira rupaka vinyasta grihitehe. Grihitehe darshayati cha. Let us read through lines. Page 371. ब्रह्म जिज्ञासां प्रतिज्ञाय ब्रह्मणो लक्षणम् उक्तम् जन्माद्यस्य यतः इति तल्लक्षणं प्रधानस्यापि समानम् इत्याशङ्क्य तच्छब्दत्वेन निराकृतम् ईक्षतेर्नाशब्दम् इति गतिसामान्यं च वेदान्तवाक्यानां ब्रह्मकारणवादं प्रति विद्यते। न प्रधानकारणवादम् प्रतीति प्रपञ्चितं गतेन ग्रन्थेन प्रतीति प्रपञ्चितं गतेन ग्रन्थेन इदं तु इदानीम् अवशिष्टम् आशङ्क्यते यदुक्तप्रधानस्य अशब्दत्वं तदसिद्धम् कासूचित् शाखासु प्रधानसमर्पणाभासानां that is there प्रधानसर्पणाभासानां प्रधानसर्पणाभासानां शब्दानां श्रूयमाणत्वात् अतः प्रधानस्य कारणत्वं वेदसिद्धम् एव। महद्भिः परमर्षिभिः कपिलप्रभृतिभिः परिगृहीतमिति प्रसज्यते तद्यावत् तेषां शब्दानाम् अन्यपरत्वं न प्रतिपाद्यते। तावत् सर्वज्ञं ब्रह्म जगतः कारणमिति प्रतिपादितम् अपि आकुली भवेत्। अतः तेषामन्यपरत्वं दर्शयितुम् परः सन्दर्भः प्रवर्तते आनुमानिकम् अपि अनुमाननिरूपितम् अपि प्रधानम् एकेषां शाखीनां शब्दवद् उपलभ्यते। काठके हि पठ्यते महतः परमव्यक्तम् अव्यक्तात् पुरुषः परः इति तत्रय एव यन्नामानो ये something is missing. What is the next word? Can you show me the book? Yat Kramascha, I think the singular. Yat Krama. Yat Kramascha. Yat Kramascha. Mahadavyakta Purushaha. Smriti Prasiddhaha. Ta eva iha pratyabhignayante. Tatra vyaktamiti smriti prasiddhehe. Shabdadihi natvacha. Na vyaktam avyaktam iti vutpatti sambhavat. Smriti prasiddham pradhanam abhidhiyate. Ataha tasya shabdavatvat ashabdatvam anupapannam tadeva cha jagatah karanam shruti smriti nyaya prasiddhibhya iti chet. We will now enter the fourth pada, and in this fourth pada, this is the last pada of the first chapter, and in this there are 8 adhikaran, and if you see in your index, see Anumanika adhikaran, Chamasa adhikaranam, then Sankhyopasangraha adhikaranam, then Karanatva adhikaranam, Balakya adhikaranam, Vakyanavaya adhikaranam, Prakritya adhikaranam, and Sarvyakyana adhikaranam. So there are 8 adhikaran. Out of the 8 adhikaran, this first adhikaran, which we are going to study, is the longest one. It has many sutras, I see. There are 7 sutras, so 7 sutras are there. And just a general introduction of the fourth pada. So you saw that in the previous 3 pada, various Vedantic statements were taken and shown that all are revealing the Jagat Karanam Brahma. That is the primary means purpose of the Shastra. That whole Jagat Karan is the Brahman only. And that Brahman is non-modifying cause of the world. So if the cause is non-modifying, then effect is not different than the cause. Rather, the cause alone appears as the effect. It's a contradiction that cause does not change and effect has come out. So all the Upanishadic statement of the 3 padas had only one aim: to establish the consistency that Brahman alone is the cause of the world. Consistency is called Samanvaya. And therefore this first chapter is called Samanvaya Adhyaya. First chapter is called Samanvaya Adhyaya. And this is the common thread going in all the sutras. So, this is called Samanvaya Adhyaya because Samanvaya means one which goes all in all. Anvaya means to go. So, one that is proving that in all the statements of the Upanishads, there is a common principle going that Brahman is the cause of the world. Jagat Karanam Brahma. But in this path, Vedvyas Bhagavan is going to take specific words like Avyaktam, Mahat, Aja, and analyze these, that what these words really reveal. Because these words are, don't see it, just listen to me when I say. Because these words are used by Sankhya. And Sankhya and Vedanta both use these words. And there is a slight change in their meaning also. So he wants to establish the meaning which is as per the Vedanta also, so that there is no confusion, because there Vedanta interprets certain words in a little different shade. So, by analyzing the word, please be careful, by analyzing these certain words, common words, Vedvyas Ji is going to establish that Jagat Karan is Brahma. So what is the difference between all other padas and this pada? All other quarters were simply telling how Jagat Karanam is Brahma. In this pada or a quarter, by analyzing the certain technical words, same thing will be proved. Okay, this is the difference. So, Avyaktadi Vichara Dvara Vedant Vakyanam Brahmani Samanvaya Sthapanam. Avyaktadi Vichara Dvara Vedant Vakyanam Brahmani Samanvaya Sthapanam. So by the Avyakt Adi Padanam Vicharadvara, Avyakt Adi Padanam Vicharadvara, by analyzing the words like Avyakt, Vedant Vakyanam Brahmani Samanvaya Sthapanam. By analyzing the words like Avyakt, Vedvyas Ji is going to tell that all the Upanishadic statements have culmination in Brahman only as the cause of world. Avyakt Adi Vicharat Dvara Vedant Vakyanam Brahmani Ev Samanvaya Sthapanam. Right? By analyzing the words like Avyakt, etc., Vedvyas Bhagavan is going to prove that all these statements of the Upanishads have culmination in Brahman as the cause of world. Okay, now I've repeated few times. You have to now understand what I said. So there'll be more of the word analysis. Words analysis. That is the uniqueness of this particular quarter. That is called Padavichara. Like Ram is going. So Ram is going is a sentence. But if I start thinking what does Ram means, what is going means, that is called Pad. Suptingantam Padam. And this is the definition of Pad. So we are going to do vichar of Pad and not the Vakya. Vakya will be there, but mainly we'll focus on Pad only. But earlier was Vakya vichara. And therefore, fourth pada is also called Padvichar pada. Padvichar pada, the quarter in which the Pad means words will be analyzed. So this has 8 adhikaran. The total number of sutras in this adhikaran is 28. So around 28 sutras are there. 28 total. And number of sections are 8 sections. Okay, anybody knows how many was in the first pad? How many were in second pad? Don't know. Open the book. In the first pad, how many? So how many sections are there? Padikara? 8. Okay, 11 adhikaran and 31 sutras are in the first pad. Second, 7 adhikaran and 32 sutras. Third, 13. So 11, then 12. 11, 7 adhikaran. 11, 7, 13. 11, 7, 13 and 8. And if you total the number of sutras, I think this will be sutra number 107. This is 107 sutras. Coming sutra is 107 sutras. 11, 7, 13 and 8. This is the little order. Let us see now first adhikara of this particular pada. And if we complete this, then this book will be over. Then you have to get another book, which I think you have or I don't. You don't have. Okay, then you will get a book, which is a little thicker than this book. Because you have 3 more chapters. Imagine 3 chapters. There are 555 sutras. We have hardly covered 1/5 of that. Anyway, God is there. Let us see what God was. So, Anumanik Adhikaranam. What does it mean? So, I will just go through it, the background, then we will see the details of this Adhikaran. What is this Adhikaran says? That Sankhya is the main Purpaksha. Sankhya is back. Sankhya was in the first pad more. As I told you in the first chapter, Sankhya is the main Purpaksha. It is the main Purpaksha. Rather, why first? Whole Brahma Sutra only, I feel Sankhya is the prominent Purpaksha is Sankhya. Because Sankhya is very close to Vedanta. And being close to Vedanta, it has more common points of confusion. And Because of that, and Sankhya is a very materialistic kind of philosophies are there in that. They accept the matter as a separate reality than the consciousness. You heard that. From some Ikshatyadikaran, etc., you have seen that. And therefore, we will think about Sankhya. Before we move into the Adhikaran, just few points which you have heard earlier, but I am going to repeat those points just for quick brush up. If you remember, few similarities are there. Even the name Sankhya is used by Vedanta also, and it is used by Sankhya also. In Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter is called Sankhya. And Bhagavan himself uses the word Sankhya. Anybody will say, which slok is there? Esha te bhita Sankhya buddhi yoge tumam suno. Buddhiha yuktya yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. This is the slok of 2nd chapter. Bhagavan says, after telling about Vedanta, he says, till now I have been talking about Sankhya. And actually it was Vedanta only. Na jayate mriyate vagadachit, etc. is Sankhya. So Sankhya word has come from Samyak Khyati, one whose fame is well known. Sankhya. Kya means to know. Samkhya, one which is well known. Sankhya means number actually in English, like 1, 2, 3 is called Sankhya, where logical deductions are there. 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 3 is 4, logic is there. So when we were studying mathematics, was high scoring subject, because either you get 0 or you get full number. There is no in between. But English, Hindi, you can always get in between. Essay has come, and if you write very well, out of 10 you get 8 marks, 9 marks. If you don't write properly, you get 1, 2. So there are more descriptive. But some subjects were very scoring, like Sanskrit. It is right or wrong. So it's not that you can say no, it may be right, it is wrong also. There is no midway in that. So this king of all subjects is, king of all subjects was maths, mathematics. I think your maths must be very good, Prithvi. See, he's how much you scored? 80-90%. Yes. Mannamai's maths also was. Counting was good. But in the business, you need to count a lot. Earlier, calculator was also not used. So, tables were there. So, those who had business, I think if you are in business, automatically your mathematics is good. Because you do very frequently the counting. Sri Salam had come. Meenakshi's husband. He was super. He's in bank. But he knows all subjects. Film also, cricket also, football also, counting also, satsang also. Not a single day notes he missed. Sri Salam and Meenakshi, you forgot. So last year SUP course they were here. She was very good in. He used to sit here and very regular. Both husband and wife were very dedicated. Still they are there. Still they keep on listening to the talks. And yesterday she said I completed Ramayana Parayan. Anyway. So this first similarity, what creates a confusion is the word Sankhya itself. Second point is another confusion, that Sankhya is authored by Kapil Muni. So one is Kapil Muni, other is Kapil Bhagwan. And both are Kapil. So this Sankhya philosophy was authored by Kapil Muni. But the Sankhya called, when Vedanta is also called Sankhya, that is revealed once more by Kapil Bhagwan, who is the son of Devhuti, in the third canto, which we will be hearing after a few days. So this is another similarity. This is another similarity. Third similarity is, because similarities are there, then there is a scope for confusion also. Where the points are there. The Vedanta and Sankhya both use the word Purush and Prakriti. And Purush and Prakriti both are beginningless or Anadi. So Prakriti, but what does Sankhya say? That this Prakriti is inert. I have told all these things. I am just bringing it in the surface of your mind. What the revision does, that the points which are sitting under the subconscious mind, and when that same topic is brought out, it comes at the surface of the mind and it helps you. Subconscious thing, if it is sitting, it doesn't help you. It is sitting there, but it doesn't come to help you. But when you revise and recollect, the same principle are back faster. A lot of studies when we do, so certain topics get little buried inside. And therefore we need to see this sound. You hearing this? Which light? No, but there's a wave. See, gone. It has gone now. Achha, he can't hear properly. Huh? I don't know, but I think it needs to be rectified because it can become worse. It is going in phases. It is coming and going. Now it is gone. It is gone now. See, again it will come erratic, like our mind. So, sometimes noise, sometimes silence. So, because he has to go for operation. On Tuesday you are going. So before that, I think he needs some assistance. Just help him because he is not able to hear. If he is dealing with sound and he can't hear, it becomes difficult. Then he is using sixth sense. So 3-4 days you will be there in hospital, I think. Oh, but see that. Okay, so Prakriti and Purush both are Anadi. What Sang said, that Prakriti is inert and Purush is consciousness. But this Prakriti, which is inert, is a different entity than Purush. They are exclusively existing. So existence of Prakriti is not dependent on existence of Purush. So Prakriti is inert and is the cause of the whole world. Prakriti is inert and cause of the whole world. Please note in Vedanta also, Prakriti and Purush both are Anadi, beginningless. And in Vedanta also, Prakriti is the cause of the world. So this song says that Prakriti evolves into the world. Prakriti evolves into the world. When these common points are mentioned, so slowly a person gets confused and he feels that Vedanta and Sankhya are showing the signs of being synonymous. But this is not synonymous, because is not one point, but what general we think, that we think. Let us come out of the general discussion. There are two things. One is inert, other is matter. If you ask a lay person, he will also say the same thing, that there is something called inert and something is called consciousness. And inert and consciousness both enjoy the same degree of reality. Like whole world is composed of two things. So body is inert, but the self is consciousness, and both are together, and that is called life. If the consciousness leaves the body, then we say that the person is dead. But the inertness also enjoys the same level of reality as the consciousness. This is layman's perception. And it appears logical. Okay. Now, then consciousness is there and inert is there. Think all these things, quite a number of times you have to think. So what happens if you say, what is the problem in this thinking? That consciousness will be many. If consciousness, because the Prakriti is real, therefore the real world is also real then. So consciousness and world both are two entities, and there are many consciousnesses. As many bodies, so many consciousnesses are there. Your consciousness is one, my consciousness is different. When it was told to them that why don't you say there is one consciousness? Because Upanishad says that Brahma eva asti, only Brahman is there. Only one consciousness is there. All Upanishad talk about that. Eko bahunam vidadadi kaman. Only one consciousness is there. One Brahman is there. One Atma is there. Atma vaidam agre asit. It was not said that Atma Atmano Atmanam va idam agre asan. Asit astam asan. Many consciousnesses were there. And Chandogya you heard Ekam ev advitiyam, one without a second. So if you go through Upanishads, so Upanishad leave no stone unturned to tell that only one consciousness is there, was there, will be there. Okay. Because word Brahma has been used. Brahma ev idam purastad Brahma, Brahma ev idam amritam, purastad Brahma, paschad Brahma, dakshinataschotarena, adhascha urdhvam cha, Brahma eva prasartam varishtham vishramidam. So these words are used very, very frequently in the Upanishads. Why you are saying that there is only one consciousness and not the many consciousness? Why you are saying there are many consciousnesses, whereas Upanishad is saying about the one consciousness? If you remember, there are Vedic darshan and there are Nastik darshan. Nastik means don't accept the Vedas as the authority. And three Nastik darshan are Charvak, Bauddha and Jain. And among the Astik darshan you heard Purmimamsa, Uttarmimamsa, Sankhya, Yoga and Nyaya and Vaisheshika. So this comes in Astik darshan, Sankhya. But if they were Astik, then why don't you say the same thing? Why don't you follow? Because Vedas are all saying that only one consciousness is there. Prajnanam Brahma Tattvamasi. Tat is a singular word. Tatte tani. Tat means one. Brahman is there. If you see 4 Mahavakya, so Prajnanam Brahma is the Mahavakya for Rigveda. Then Ayam Atma, then about the second Yajurved Mahavakya is Aham Brahmasmi. अब देखो Aham and Brahma all in singular. Samved Mahavakya is Tattvamasi, that is also in singular. And Atharved Mahavakya is Ayam Atma Brahma, that is also in singular. So everywhere it is said that only one Brahman is there. Brahma, one consciousness is there. Now if the Brahman will be many, or consciousness will be many, so manyness is possible only when something is in time or space. If something is in time and space, the problem will be, it will become limited. It will become limited. That means limitation of space will come, limitation of time will come. Limitation of space means something is here but not there, there but not here. And something, if it is limited in time, it will become now and not then. And Gita also says the same thing. Avinashi tu tad vidyena sarvamidam tatam vinasham apyasyasya na kashchit kartumaras. There is only Avinashi is there. If consciousness is many, then problem will be, it will become dying consciousness. It will pass away. It will fizzle out. But you heard many times that consciousness has been said to be nitya, eternal. Because something to pass away, it should be in time. And something to be in time, that means it has to be experienced along with the time. But in the deep sleep samadhi, consciousness is experienced without the time. Therefore, consciousness is not in time. If consciousness was in time, anything in time modifies. Like our body modified, like our mind also modifies. Morning mind is something, evening mind is something, because modification takes place. Modification takes place. And with the time, sometimes some aspect of the mind goes away. Something I was attached, now I'm no longer attached. Something I was hating, I no longer hate. So there are a lot of phases in mind. Maybe after 20 years, your mind will be different. Why maybe it will be different? Because mind is under time span. Something you are liking now, you will not like now. Disliking now, you may not like now. Then at that time, in 2040, hoping you will be alive. So my all the best for your long life. Not alive. After a long time, it's not very long time. 20 years passes like that. 20 years passes like that. And you are hardly, I will not tell your age. So in that time, mind changes. After 20 years, see if you go back 20 years, that means in 2000, see what kind of mind you had. In year 2000, I think most of you must be student at that time. Working? Working? No, he was a student. 2000? No. Sure. He was in class 5, 6. Which class? Grade? Kindergarten. That is before prep. Before grade 1, oh my God. See, I'm now where you are. How much our mind changes. How much our attitude changes. How much our physique changes. How much our hair changes. How much our company changes. Who was around you and now who is around you. How much your schedule changes. How much the books around you changes. How much you think of a different subject. How much what topic is important changes. So whatever is in time, that is the way it will change. But if consciousness was in time, then you would have changed. But you know that I was there when I was 7 year or 10 year or 2 year. 2 year, you don't remember, 4 year. That means the consciousness has not changed. And therefore the consciousness should not be limited by time. And this Sankhya also accepts. He says the Purush is Nitya. But what mistake it does? It says Purush is many. And why it said many? I had told you the reason earlier also. Now here they drift away from the Vedic point. Because the Vedas were not making sense. They say if Purush was one, then by liberation of one all will be liberated. And by bondage of one all will be bound. But perception is different. That one person is liberated, that is not liberated. One is bound, that is not bound. So what I want to say, Sankhya is saying, let us make Purush many, because logic is not fitting. So they are fitting, they are mainly logicians. They are mainly logicians and they are taking the support of the Vedas to prove their logic. And therefore they are Paurushya Darshanani. Paurushya Darshanani means which is made by man. Which is made darshan is there. So the primary source of knowledge is their logic. And they are taking the support of Vedas to prove their knowledge. So in that philosophy, Purush are many and Purush is consciousness and Nitya. And Prakriti is a different entity than the Purush. I hope this point is, I'm talking about difference now. What is the difference between the Sankhya and Vedanta? Okay, clear. But it is contradicting the Vedanta, because Vedanta will say that Purush is willing. Just now I quoted many mantras. Not one mantra you will find which will say that Atma is many. Atma is many only by the conditioning. Now, when this was posed to Sankhya, that you are saying Atma is many, but it is Vibhu. Vibhu means all pervading. Lo. Ab how can something be many and all pervading? So about the Purush, they use 3 words: Asanga, Vibhu and Nitya. So Atma is many, Atma is detached, and Atma is eternal. Vibhu, Asanga and Nitya. So these are the 3 words they use. Now if you go to Vedanta now, Vedants will say, see what Sankhya you are talking. If you moment to make it many, then problem will be anything which is many will come in time and space. That means it will die away. Anything which will be in time, it will go into death. That means Atma also will die away. Whereas Upanishads also say, Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. If Kathopanishad you hear, Kathopanishad, Bhagavan has borrowed from Kathopanishad. This Kathopanishad mantra, Bhagavan Krishna, is very comfortable in borrowing the mantra. I was reading Devi Bhagavat. So in Devi Bhagavat, whole Mundak Upanishad, big chunk is totally taken away like that. Straight away. Copy paste almost. So, but why should you bother? Bhai Bhagwan's mouth, Gita has come, and Bhagwan's breath, Upanishads have come. So it is his only anyway. Not that he is borrowing somebody else's. He is not pilfering or taking something like that. Now, this mini Purush is a very big problem because many Purush will die away. And if only one Purush is kept, then also problem. Because if one Purush you put, then the liberation and the bondage cannot be proved. Now, if the Vedanta said if you put Prakriti and Purush as 2 separate entities, then there will be Vastu Pariched. There will be limitation on account of object also. That what is Pradhan or what is Prakriti is not Purush. And therefore, Vedanta said, I think you need to rectify yourself slightly. What is the meaning of rectification? I am going to give the new word to the Prakriti called Maya. Maya word they don't use. Maya, these dualists are very afraid of Maya word. So sometimes they call Shankaracharya as this Mayavadi. It's totally wrong. Because Shankaracharya didn't bring the word Maya. Maya word comes in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. It comes in Kaivalya Upanishad. Mayam tu prakritim vidnim mainam tu maheshwaram. This is in Shvetashvatara. And it comes in Kaivalya Upanishad. Saeva maya parimohitatma shariramastaya karodi sarva. Now this word Maya is a very important word now. Upanishad says only Atma was there. Atma vaidam agre asit ekameva dvitiyam. When only one self was there was nanyat kinchan mishat. Nothing else was there. That means time and space was not there. That means it was unlimited. How? When Upanishad is saying that nothing else, where from you brought Prakriti? Why you brought this Prakriti? Your Vedant, please note, primary source of knowledge in Vedant is the Upanishad. And here primary source of knowledge is their Tark, logic, for the Sankhya. And secondary source is the Vedanta, for Sankhya. And for Upanishad, secondary source is Tark. Tark is needed to support Vedanta. And for them, Vedanta is needed to support Tark. They're using the Vedanta to support logic. And we are using the logic to support Vedanta. When Upanishads are saying that only Atma was there, nothing else. Handog, I told you. Aitreya, I told you. Then, Taitri also. Vishnu. What is that? Tatri asadvaidam agre asit. Ekameva dviti. Many places are there. Only Atma was there. Atma vaidam agre asit. Brahma evidam agre asit. Only Brahman was there in the beginning. Nanya, this is Chatushloki Bhagavata. Where from you brought this Maya? Prakriti. Now they ask the question, if only Atma was there, you please tell me, how do you justify moksha and how do you justify bandhan? That we will see tomorrow. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.